he bought one of these like really early robots. It looked like kind of like the Optimus one, kind of looked like the figure one. I'm not sure if that's anyway. And anyway, but it's like 80 grand, right? And so, and he's like telling it to do stuff, and he's like, okay, like I want you to like cook me like dinner. I'm gonna go play Fortnite. Like, it's like really funny. Like, And so the robot's like using the pan, but then just kind of like, and he's like, calm down, and then like grabbing it because it's like hammering away.
Start it up, let's get it rolling. Big ideas, money folding, hustle smart, dream so wild. Turn that grind into a joyride.
It's 2026. This is our first recorded episode of 2026. In this episode, we're going to actually review, we're going to have some fun. We're going to, you know how every, the end of every year, the beginning of every new year, there's always a bunch of like predictions for the coming year, you know, that come out from
I like the LinkedIn
experts.
posts. This is what I'm doing in 2026. Like, no one cares.
So I thought it'd be really fun to rewind about a year and look at all the predictions for 2020 that were coming out for 2025 a year ago and figure out if they actually came through, whether these so-called experts know what they're talking about. Okay.
Well, I'll probably just go ahead and say like, no, but like,
All right. But before we do that, because it is our first episode of the year, I thought we could take a few minutes just to recap our 2025 with respect to this podcast and our book, because we launched a book. We had actually we launched it in 2024, but like at the end of 2024. So 2025 was like the first full year that we had that we could say we were authors, and we can now actually say that we're award-winning authors.
Yeah.
Those bullet points I gave you were real solid.
Dude, you were involved in like 3 or 4 chapters. So
I think I did.
No, you did. I'm sorry. That wasn't very nice.
You hold this over me all the time.
I don't. You wrote all the code. It's fair.
Okay.
I think if anything, I'm still way down.
But I'm still an award-winning author, right?
Yeah,
okay,
for sure.
Right, fine. As long as I maintain
I feel
my
like
title.
it's a lot of our story, and you like lived the story. You like did the things in it. If anything, like all I did was recount them. You know what I mean? So
all right. Anyway, whatever. Okay. So what I want to talk about first is let's take the book first.
Yeah.
We won some awards. We won some hardware. So I just want to really quickly, so that our viewers don't think we're pieces of crap, we actually did some good stuff. So, all right, what's this one?
This is the International Impact Book Awards. So this is one of the ones. This is the first one we won for the book. So this is when the book became award winning.
It's badass.
Kind of a weird looking thing, but I like it. I don't know how to describe. What would you say? It's like a music note. Is actually what I would think of,
or some sort of like violent weapon that you.
Like an upside down scythe thing. Anyway, pretty cool though. Very nice trophy. So that's cool. That's number one.
All right, so that's number one. Okay, what else do we got?
We won third. Whoa, almost kicked the trophy. We won third place, so bronze medal in the Axiom Business Book Awards. So that's like a international book thingamajig. It was pretty good. So I was probably pretty happy with that.
Right on.
We've got
no trophy for that one though, just a medal. Which I'm a big fan of the trophies.
Yeah, honestly, like Axiom, like come on, everybody else has a trophy. But anyway, this is probably the one I'm most proud of. So this is the Business Book Awards out of the United Kingdom. And Startup Different won in the Startup Scale Up book category. It's this extremely shiny trophy. It probably just shows the camera back to the camera. It shows you whatever you want to see. So anyway, really cool though. Super proud of this.
We got to go to London, England for that.
Yeah, not London, Ontario. Although I do like London, Ontario as well. It has its charms, but it's hard to agree with
people that like live in Toronto have to qualify which London you're visiting.
Well, I love anytime somebody's like, "Oh, we're going to London for something." I'm like, "Oh, London, Ontario." Anyway.
Nice. So that was a good one.
So that's for the book. There were a few others as well, but those were kind of like the big ones.
Those were the big ones. Yeah, absolutely.
For the pod, we had the Communicator Award, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I like this one. This is like
a Grammy. Kind of feels like an Emmy or an Oscar kind of vibe.
Yeah.
So this is the Communicator Awards. So this was the first for the pod for making an award-winning podcast. Shout out to Toronto Podcasts and a good friend Graham behind the desk there, who obviously participated in this too. So
it makes the magic happen.
It makes me sparkle. This one was really cool. This was the Signal Awards. This is a silver award and Signal for the best indie podcast. So Startup Different, so it came second place there, which is amazing. So really, really happy about that. Also, points for the coolest looking trophy.
Definitely the coolest trophy.
Unquestionably the coolest trophy
we've had. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so it was a really, really good year for the pod and really good year for the book. And
okay. Yeah. All right. Well, there's actually one more that you don't know about that we've got.
What are you talking about?
I'm got a little surprise.
What are you talking about? What is it?
There's one more award.
What is this? This is kind of fun. I don't like being ambushed though. Yeah, this is going to come up in your performance review. Is this? Oh. Apparently, we won the greatest of all theme songs for a podcast category and the GOAT Award to start a different. How long have you been planning this?
All right. Can we tell the story of? Okay, you know why I did this, right?
Yeah, you should tell it. Though.
All right. So one of the other piece of accolade that we got, which is really, really cool.
I'm gonna put this right here.
We were actually featured in Inc. magazine in an article called "The 9 Best Podcast Episodes of 2025 for Business Leaders,"
which is pretty nuts.
Which is pretty
by
nuts.
The way. Yeah. And we didn't pay them. We didn't. No contact. It just happened.
By the way, one of our podcast episodes is actually the one. Do Founders Need to Be Famous? Was selected as number 5 on that list out of 9, which was awesome. Number 4 was a Diary of the CEO episode.
Oh, cool.
So wow.
So now we're on their radar, which is not good news.
Yeah. we're coming for you,
Stephen Bartlett. We know you.
We're coming for it.
Yeah.
No,
you think you're
anyways,
so popular.
Kind of cool. Although as you know, I'm not always the greatest at taking feedback, constructive criticism.
I'd say it's a weakness of yours.
Can I just read a little bit of the beginning of the description of our episode? So, beyond the requisite bad music and the occasional dude, this is a podcast that manages to avoid the worst cliches and the rampant ego of many business podcasts. And it goes on to say very nice things about us and all that sort of stuff. So the only thing is, why do people not like our
we should say too that we also got a comment on one of our videos on YouTube where somebody basically all they said was your intro music sucks and it's too long, and to which I commented back as Start Different. I commented back, I'm like, just skip it. I don't understand what the problem is, but anyway.
Actually, I had the worst reveal for that particular comment. I was sitting with one of my buddies and we were working on stuff, and he was asking like, "Oh, how's the podcast going?" I'm going, "Oh, it's actually pretty good. Like, look at the stats." And then, "Oh, there's some comments on this one." I click it and it's like your theme music sucks.
You suck.
Oh, yeah. So anyways, wanted to have some fun with you on that.
That's fun. I like this.
We definitely deserve.
I don't know where this is going to go, but it'll be a place of true honor.
It's a pretty badass goat.
You know what I really like about it is that this doesn't seem quite center aligned to the Start of Different, which is also from a what do you call it, a label printer?
My Dymo label maker. Trying to.
And Chris, fun fact is Chris owns a label maker for the things in his house because he's that kind of guy.
An opportunity.
Yeah, of course. I love it though. This is a jokes trophy.
Cool bit. So all right. So I should say actually, cool, dude. That's the other thing. Did we use the word dude?
I'm sure. I
don't know.
Probably once an episode. Graham, is it once an episode? Yeah, it's definitely once an episode.
All right. Okay. So now let's get into the actual. Actually, before we go on, just want to thank everybody for supporting us.
And also indulging us in that couple of minutes of us just being, look at us go.
Okay. So I wanted to do that. We don't. When we won these awards, we didn't mention it. We didn't really, we might have posted a little bit on social media, put it on our website, stuff like that. But we didn't go super hard to the hoop to tell people about this stuff. And I think that was actually probably a mistake, because I think you need some credibility when you're starting a business.
Yeah,
you need credibility, and winning awards, winning this type of stuff. You're probably, I don't know, I always feel kind of too reserved to want to tell people about these things.
We are a podcast. We literally talk about important business stuff all the time, and
I think we probably made a mistake that we didn't.
I think we just assumed it would carry more weight, when we wouldn't have to say that much about it. But I think it makes sense to point it out.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's why we wanted to show it, and mostly it's to thank you guys for being such a great audience and helping us win some of this hardware, and pat our egos a little bit.
New goat here too.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So. What I want to now do is go into the actual what we're going to talk about today, which is the 2025 tech startup predictions.
Hit me with the first one.
All right. So prediction number 1. Okay. So tech futurist Alan Smithson predicted the first shipment of home-based humanoid robots would be a major milestone in 2025. And he predicted that over 100,000 units would be sold globally. Okay. From companies like Tesla, Xiaomi, Dyson, prices ranging from $10,000 to $25,000. And the use cases were going to be like cleaning, cooking assistants, elder care, that kind of stuff.
Have you seen the video of that guy? I'll tell you after. Keep going.
All right. Well, anyways, the last point I want to mention was they were going to be positioned as a new era of personalized AI-driven home assistants.
Okay. You jumped the gun.
Okay. Yeah. I'm totally thinking C3PO and R2D2 are walking around our houses doing stuff for us.
I do think there is a market, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So what actually happened? So Tesla Optimus, just to give you some actual numbers, they plan to deploy 5,000 to 10,000 in 2025. They actually only built 1,000. They were all prototypes that were just like factory prototypes.
Yeah, they're all in.
They didn't actually
like the factory. They weren't actually for consumers.
Yeah. So still in the pilot phase. In testing only. The competition, though, is interesting. It's Boston Dynamics and their Atlas robot entered commercial production just recently, cool. Within January 2026.
Wow.
So most other humanoid robots are still obviously in just research and testing. So the market prediction here on this happening in 2025
for sure
is at least off by, I think it's at least another 2 to 3 years before we see this happen. So what's your hot take? When do we have robots actually show up doing our cooking and cleaning?
Well, they'll be, so, I mean, if you're telling me that there's production happening, so that means they'll have inventory. So like, I would imagine that like 100,000 units, maybe 2027 is probably what I'd feel like. It's one thing to make them. It's another thing to move them. It's another thing to list them. It's another thing to sell them. And then there's another thing for like commercial adoption. So like people has to see that it works well. It's more reliable. People have to be, you gotta justify the price point.
I think
it's like a million different little things that have to happen.
We're just assuming too that there's going to be demand for this.
I think there is demand.
Is the product market fit there? Like, are you going to be cool with a humanoid robot walking around your house?
It depends on the use case. Okay, so this goes back to this. There was this video circulating on Instagram, and I'm pretty sure it was real. It's hard with the deepfake stuff these days. But it was this guy, and I think he was like an entrepreneur living in LA or something like that. And he bought one of these like really early robots. It looked like kind of like the Optimus one, kind of looked like the figure one. I'm not sure if that's anyway. And but it's like 80 grand, right? And so he's like telling it to do stuff, and he's like, okay, like I want you to like cook me like dinner. I'm gonna go play Fortnite. It's like really funny. And so the robot's like using the pan, but then just kind of and he's like, calm down, and like grabbing it because he's like hammering away. Like it was just, and then at one point he's like, let's see if the robot notices this glass door. And it's like, robot, come here. And there's punches right through the door. Like, so like it was actually really funny. So like, I do think there's demand for some of this stuff. Okay. It strikes me as a very like high wealth kind of product to start, And
I think you got to be an early adopter. You got to be willing to spend 80 grand.
I'm not going to buy the first hover car. You know what I mean? Like I would not be the first person to get this.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to like strangle me in my sleep or something.
For all those people where like 80 grand is something you're willing to like discard with after it completely doesn't work out,
there's a good chance it's like just totally useless. Or like it's in 2 years after it comes out. It's like exponentially better. I got, I have a Google Home. Yeah. I've had it since a long time, like since like 2017 or something like that. Maybe even before that, whenever I was in the condo. So 2015 actually, maybe.
Right.
And it just got upgraded from the terrible Google Assistant to Google Gemini.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, wow, I almost bought a new one thinking I had to do that to get to Gemini, which they should have done, by the way.
Yeah.
But it gives you a good idea, I guess, of the competitive pressure.
Right.
But I'm like, wow, this is so much better.
Yeah.
I can like just talk to it. It really understands the nuance. It doesn't make these same mistakes over and over again. I'm like, okay, this is much, much better. And I feel like you're going to run into this with these robots. Like robot 1 versus robot year 3, 4, 5 like that version will be exponentially better.
Can I make a comment about the Google Home Gemini thing? Because I also have Google Home, and as you know, I got a cottage, and I did all the smart
Chris got a cottage
a while ago.
He wants you to know that.
So I'm in my living room, and I'm like, hey, turn on the lights, in the living room.
Yeah.
And they don't come on, and because I'm in my condo here in Toronto. And then I'm like, what's going on? So I go into the app for the lighting, and they're on at my cottage.
Your cottage. That's
even
funny.
though the Google Home app has me as at my condo, not at my cottage. And I'm like, okay, guys.
So do you have to name it like condo lights instead of?
I don't know, but like, can it not figure out that?
Yeah, because I thought you were in a different
I'm
home.
in away from the cottage.
Yeah. If you're in a different home.
Right. So I'd actually say they still got a long way to go.
That still strikes me as a pebcac. I still think you're the issue there. I'm not really sure.
Hopefully it's just not a hardware thing. It's just a software thing they can eventually fix. But
it's definitely a software thing.
They're rushing this stuff out so fast because they just want to be able to say, hey, Google Home now has AI.
I know that we're going to talk about other things, but I heard that the new AI device, which we did a different episode on, or at least a segment on, is audio only. It's like audio focused.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. So I was like, okay, so it's a Google Home watch phone thing that which I think we highlighted will have a lot of issues, which is mostly I don't want to have a public conversation.
I don't want to talk out loud to this thing. Yeah, absolutely.
I'd like to talk quietly, like, and
it's actually OpenAI doing that, right?
Yeah, sorry, that's the OpenAI. That's what's the guy, the ex-Apple designer dude?
I can't remember his name now.
Johnny Ive.
Yeah,
cool.
Anyway, all right. Anyways, all right. Johnny. Prediction number. So I think we've kind of busted that prediction didn't work out. We don't have humanoid C-3POs walking through our houses.
Not even close to the numbers they're talking about.
Yeah.
How do you get your first customer? Hint, they might be right under your nose. Find the answer to this question and dozens more in Startup Different. Find it on Amazon, Audible, and Kindle.
Okay, so the next one. GPT-5 will launch in 2025.
It did.
This happened.
Yeah.
Okay. Now they were talking big game before release in GPT-5. Like this was going to rock our worlds. Right. And what you use, ChatGPT, I actually use Claude because I use AI for coding most of the time, but I should use Claude more, to be honest.
I'm just more invested in ChatGPT right now.
So, you're using 5, so
yeah, like it's pretty good. I'd still say it's like this. The thing is, I do think
that's exactly what I was hoping you were going to say.
It's pretty okay. I think it's like reached like how much you can see it change. There are moments when it really impresses me. Right. There are other moments when it really disappoints me.
Yeah,
and the delta is getting more significant because of what it can do on the high end when it does work correctly and do something really spectacular or really impressive. It only increases the disappointment when it fails. Yeah. So you know what I mean? Like it's a weird sense of like, wow, it can do more. So why can't it do this right?
Yeah.
And so I end up, I also think the other thing that we learned though, from the release, if I may, from the release of ChatGPT 5 was that ChatGPT is like, oh shit, we probably shouldn't be hyping the shit out of these things. Excuse my language. We shouldn't be hyping these so much because we end up disappointing people.
Yeah.
And now they're doing much similar to the AppArmor style releases. We're 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, 5.4, 5.5. They little releases so that it's not the big bang. Here's the newest thing sort of release. It's more like these are incremental improvements,
which I think I like.
I do too.
And I don't think I think you're right. They shouldn't be pumping their own tires on this stuff.
Yeah, and that's marketing.
Exactly.
But I mean, they got to feel like they're pretty awesome.
Yeah,
it's the most quickly adopted piece of technology in the history of mankind. Yeah, good for them.
So like, there was some user backlash when that came out. So. Users said it felt flat, uncreative, lobotomized. They actually brought back GPT 4.0 so that people could use that because users wanted that back. So, bottom line is like it happened, but didn't really live up to what the expectations were.
I think if you were to look at the competition in the AI world starting January 2025 to now, a lot has changed.
Right.
I would say that landscape has shifted pretty drastically.
Yep.
Market share probably shifting 10, 15, 20% among the top couple here.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
All right. So number 3.
Yeah.
Chinese AI models will surpass US models in 2025.
In what way?
In
general.
No, like honestly, like, output being better, more accurate. faster, cheaper, that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of those diagrams that kind of show like, like the growth of US models and the growth of Chinese models and kind of like that.
Yeah.
And they were kind of saying this was going to be the point where the Chinese model like meet or exceed what the US models are doing. So DeepSeek obviously came out, I think it was actually January of 2025, rocked the stock market when that happened because everybody was like, wait a minute, they did this with like $5 million.
Yeah, it was a very nominal amount of money.
Exactly. Yeah. And actually we found out later that it wasn't actually $5 million. There was some budging of those numbers.
Really? What do you mean?
Yeah. They actually spent more, I believe. Don't quote me on that because
like double? Like even if it was 20 million, that doesn't matter.
Good point.
Like we're talking billions.
What they actually did though was they were just clever around their algorithms around the AI, and that's how they made it come so close. So, but the consensus still is that DeepSeek is not better than than the US models. So pick your US model that you want to compare with.
Yeah.
But they will say that it is cheaper. It is less expensive.
Well, I think there's some element here of like, and I don't want to get like too like semantic, but like what is better?
Yep.
Right. So I think part of better is, can it do the same things? Can it access the same or more information? Can it process it more quickly or as fast? And I would say that there are some limitations there on Chinese models in lots of different ways.
Yep.
One is like literal like chip capacity. And then there's, which everybody kind of knows about, I think or at least is pretty commonplace, that the Chinese market doesn't have access to the best NVIDIA chips.
That's right. Yeah.
There are black market NVIDIA, the correct chips in China, but there's no they don't have like a clear, easy stream of that.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big influencer. And I do think that, probably they're with those constraints, they're becoming more creative, and that's why you're seeing lower spends to accomplish something similar.
Yeah. It's interesting because I feel like when we were running our business, the constraints that we had kind of forced us to be, innovative, creative, and come up with better approaches to doing things. And so, when I think about the NVIDIA chip thing, I think it's actually a bad move. I think they should be sending as many NVIDIA chips to China as they want. Because if you don't, then China figures out how to make their own.
Oh, yeah, right? That's just that. If it was up to NVIDIA, they'd be selling them. I think it's up to the U.S. government.
I think they make a deal where the U.S. government gets a cut or something.
Yeah,
like that.
But then I think recently the Chinese said to not buy those chips or something. There's so much politics at play in that I'm sure NVIDIA's just like, can we just be a business in all of this? But anyway, unfortunately, they control the keys to like one of the most powerful technologies in the world right now.
So bottom line, the prediction was Chinese AI models would surpass US models.
I wouldn't say surpass. I would say they're definitely in the ballpark.
Yeah. I
think they are credible competition.
Right. Absolutely.
I think that's where they're at.
I think that is a very accurate way to describe it. So,
cool.
Just kind of like wrapping up here, unless you have any more on any of those topics. So the humanoid robots were, way too optimistic timeline.
Yeah.
I think that when you're looking at hardware businesses, you need to take the prediction and like multiply it by
everything
3
takes
or
forever.
5 or something like that.
It takes so much longer than you expect, for sure.
Yeah. And you and I had a software business, so we could kind of move pretty quickly. And I think we underestimate how difficult.
Move lightning fast.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. Compared to like what a hardware company can do, or like a physical product, like the speed at which we could iterate and make improvements and deploy those improvements and get feedback is astounding.
It was awesome.
SaaS is the holy grail of like business experimentation, because you can just so quickly get into something and figure it out and try it. Whereas like with physical products, like you got to go like a whole cycle, like from production to in customer hands, and that takes forever.
There were times where like we'd hear about a competitor doing something.
What is this, a booger? Oh, cool. Can we zoom in on? I had a white thing on my shirt. Can we zoom in on it? Was the camera? Let's just see here. It was close to one of my nipples. Close up. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so bottom line is hardware is difficult. Software, you can move at lightning fast speed.
Yep.
So the predictions are probably more accurate when it comes to software, what it's going to do.
Yeah.
Then what was the second one that we talked about here? Now I lost my spot. Oh yeah, the GPT-5 situation. So they were saying this thing was going to be pretty close to what do they call it?
AGI.
AGI, excuse me. Yeah. And
wow,
obviously
really?
we're not there. Yeah, they were talking like maybe by the end of 2025 that it would
I thought a lot of those predictions are 2027, 2028.
Well, there's that.
It was Project 2026.
But then they're wrong because it
2020
happens in 2027.
Yeah, it happens in 2027 in their thing.
Anyways, yeah.
We'll see.
All right.
Could be a hell of a year.
Bottom line.
It has started to be quite the year. So,
yeah.
you know.
And then obviously the Chinese models have not caught up, I don't think, with the US models, but I think there is going to be lots of competition for AI models going forward. Yep. Which is probably good if you're, you know, a person that consumes AI tech. Probably a good thing for.
It's got to be the
customers.
most competitive landscape, business landscape right now because it's just so valuable too. Cool, man.
All right. So to have a little bit of fun on our next episode, we're going to make our own predictions. We're going to look at what the predictions are.
I haven't
for
looked. I haven't
2026.
Looked. I haven't looked, but can I make a prediction for what one of the predictions will be?
Okay. Right now?
I bet one of them is about an AI bubble. That's all I'm going to say. And we'll find out on the next episode of Startup Difference.
Start it up. Let's get it rolling. Big ideas, money folding. Hustle smart, dream so wild. Turn that grind into a joyride.